Ferguson, Staten Island. Much of the nation's attention is currently focused on how police departments interact with their communities, and particularly with residents of color. I'm James Milan. Welcome to Race Matters, the first in a series of public affairs discussions that we're calling Global to Local. We have a distinguished panel to discuss these issues. Chief Ryan, some people have voiced concerns along the lines of, could this happen here, and how can we feel confident that it won't?
Could it happen? Absolutely. It could happen anywhere. And in fact, as a young police officer in the early 1980s, mid-1980s, I was trained by the United States Department of Justice how to profile. I mean, it was a policy of the United States Department of Justice. So for us to ever take the position that racial profiling doesn't happen is absurd. So now we have a generation of police officers we have to untrain and hopefully enlighten and get smarter about having them understand their biases and having them in a safe place where they can talk about their experiences and their background and what biases they may have, and not fear being labeled a racist or some bad person. And then so that they understand the blink response and that they don't bring their biases to work when they decide to engage in an enforcement action or an arrest or any other police action.
Professor Joseph, I'm wondering whether and how much we might consider the incidents we're talking about as tragic examples of a criminal justice system that continues to be affected at all levels by unconscious or unacknowledged ideas and assumptions about race.
The number of African Americans who are in jail now dwarfs that who were in jail in 1964, 65. So when we think about racial progress. And the interesting part is that the laws that allowed this to happen, the language of them are race neutral, right? These anti-crime acts of the 1980s. And also the DOJ, it's criminal justice grants. It's criminal justice grants at the state and local level. And the Brennan Center at NYU has offered alternatives with success-oriented funding. What it does, it incentivizes states and local municipalities to arrest in mass certain populations, right? It incentivizes how many arrests do you have, how many big cases. It's not about rehabilitation, and it's certainly not about ending recidivism, meaning the turnstile of people going in and out of prison.
We're going to move to questions from the audience.
Now, this is for the panel. What part does fear come into this?
I think fear is on all sides. I think there is fear on the part of, it's the whole spectrum of not only people of color, but also the white majority, because there are people who feel that, oh my goodness, this is like, what is going on? Are we going to be in a bloodbath or a civil war? How is this going to go? Okay, so there's that kind of extreme fear. And then there is the fear of the people who are really, well-meaning, liberal, social justice inclined whites. Well, we didn't do anything. We are for this cause, but, we are sort of getting, where do we stand? Because we feel the same way as you. We have the right values. We mightn't have gone through the same experience, but where do we stand? Mm-hmm. So there's that kind of fear, the fear of being in between. It's a question of, where are we going with this? What is going to happen when society changes? Where will my children grow up? Will we really be able to come to that society which is marked by compassion and understanding, rather than becoming a reverse racism?
Thanks for joining us. For Arlington Public News and Arlington Community Media, this is James Milan. Thanks a lot.